All right, let's break it all down with two of the best in the business, and I feel we've made a terrible mistake. I should be seated right there because anytime you get these two gentlemen on the same desk, we might need a referee.
I'm going to be nice. He just got here. He just got here.
Pete Prisco, Brady Quinn here to break it down. Guys, we're going to get to some action. We've talked about it all week. This is really only one piece, one data point when it comes to these prospects. But when they put it on tape tomorrow and they start getting things going on Thursday, what do you want to see? Pete, who are you going to be looking for to make a big-time statement?
Well, I think when you look at guys who I think will make a big-time statement will be Carson Strong. I think he's one of those guys. When you look at him, I love the way he throws the football. There are a lot of questions about him. And in talking to some guys, the knee still remains an issue. And he came on here and talked to our guys today and was pretty honest and forthright. He said, look, I had surgery. I wore the brace. But he's a guy that can really spin the football. And he anticipates throwing the football. Brady, you know I like guys who see the field and get the ball out and throw rifle shots down the field. And you can see right here, I mean, this is a guy who can really spin it. And the questions on the knee, okay, he might not go in the first round, might not go in the second round. But I think somebody who gets him, even if it's in the third round or late second round, they're going to get a developmental prospect who I think can become a good starting quarterback in the National Football League if the knee is clear.
Yeah. The biggest thing for him is where he ends up. He needs to be on a team and surrounded by some people who can help him because he doesn't have the ability really off script to create and do some things like that, whether it's the knee or just lack of athleticism. But you're right. He does have one of the best, if not the best arm in this quarterback draft class.
Brady, who are you hoping to see tomorrow? Really get your eyes on Thursday.
This is easy. And Pete's going to make fun of me because I'm a homer here, okay? It's Kyle Hamilton.
Okay.
Here we go.
For a guy who's 6'4", 220 pounds, the way he moves, it's freakish. You don't see this very often at a safety spot. Now, the only thing that I think you're going to get out of this, though, is it's not going to be as impressive as the tape. So I have another guy, Trayvon Walker out of Georgia, at 6'5", 275 pounds. He might run a 4.5 40. At that sort of size, that length, the way he moves, he's another guy that really impressed on tape. You're not going to see as big of stats like you saw with some of the other players there for Georgia, but he might walk away. And from the start of the season to right now, being a surefire top 20 pick when it's all said and done because of the combine, because of what he did on tape on the field this year.
One thing about Kyle Hamilton, and you're right, he can run, he looks the part, he's a big physical guy, and there's people saying, oh, he should be a top 5 pick. When was the last time we looked around this league and said, oh, my God, safeties, look what he's doing. And everybody's saying the game is changing, safeties becoming more valuable. But they do not decide football games. They don't.
No, they don't. And that's one way of looking at it. But I think the difference is we're always looking at guys who can match up versus that tough tight end that's a mismatch for everyone.
Correct.
Or even at times play against a wide receiver, especially a bigger-bodied wide receiver.
Yeah.
He can do that too, and he can play a bunch of different roles within your defense. So I do think it's warranted, and there's value in that. And that's where I think you push back when you find a rare one like what you have in Kyle Hamilton.
We'll see if someone's willing to spend the premium capital on a guy like Hamilton. It's a name we've been hearing, but Brady, I want you to give us a name we haven't been talking about that we should be.
Tariq Woolen.
Okay.
How about that? Out of UTSA as a cornerback, and Pete's just not as head because I'm telling you, after the combine, this is the sort of guy
I agree with you.
People didn't hear a ton about. Now, if you followed UTSA this year, you knew they were a top 25 team. They had a great defense. He was a big reason why, though. He is blazing fast. I mean, I'm telling you right now, he's got a shot to beat John Ross's record. There's a few guys here who have a shot. What's most impressive, though, it's 6'3.5". You don't see cornerbacks who can transition in and out of cuts like he can, who can straight line speed like what he's going to possess. He's an absolute freak. He's got to keep an eye on. And then another guy I kind of fell in love with being able to see in person this year, Tricon Thornton, the wide receiver for Baylor. Another speedster. He'll run in the 4.3s. He's a guy that I think in this wide receiver draft class that's really heavy, really rich, he'll start climbing up those draft boards with a strong performance here in Indy.
See, you mentioned the corner. He's a former receiver, so he played wide receiver early on, so he knows how to read routes and everything else. I think he's going to be a steal for whoever gets him.
Him and Boogie Barnes from Baylor. He's another guy who could break the 40 record.
My guy is Bryan Asamoah. I've been on him all last month, and I'm telling you, watching his tape, I love that guy. When Levante David came out, there weren't a lot of people who were high on him. I made Levante David the captain of my Better Than team. He never forgot it, and look what he became. I think this has become a different league. 15, 20 years ago, these smallish linebackers were not going to have the value that they have now. But you mentioned it, Brady, covering those tight ends, being able to blitz. He's a great blitzer on the interior. He can come off the edge as well. And he's so athletic and so fast. I can't wait to see where he goes. I think there's a chance, despite the fact that he's not a big linebacker, I keep hearing from some guys, he might work his way into the back end of the first round.
Really?
That would be impressive.
Yeah, he's got great roots, great instincts. Where did he play his high school ball? Didn't someone tell you he played
in Ohio?
State? Oh, in Ohio.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
It always comes back to Ohio and Notre Dame with him.
Couple of factories, Pete, and that we know. We got to talk about impact, because these are guys that are all looking to make a different level of impact with these franchises as we move forward. But who, out of the box, day one, walks into the building and makes the biggest difference next year in your eye?
I'm going to go with Aiden Hutchinson, wherever he goes. And the reason I say that, I think he's so advanced for a player coming out of college in terms of what he does, his moves, his ability to use his hands. I do worry that there's going to be a ceiling for him at some point. And if there's a ceiling for him, that's going to be a disappointment, because he's going to be a good player and not a great player. But right off the bat, I think he's going to be very good rushing the passer. And we know how that goes. If a guy ends up as a rookie season, he gets 10 sacks, he's going to be the defensive rookie of the year. So I'm going with Hutchinson.
No, I think it's a great pick. You know, it's hard. You look at this year's defensive rookie of the year, Micah Parsons. You know, could Nakobe Dean be that? Maybe a guy like your Bryan Asamoah, maybe he ends up being that. You know, Pat Surtain had a great year, got overshadowed a lot too. So I'd like to pick a cornerback, but I'm going to go a different direction. I'm going to go with whichever tackle the Jacksonville Jaguars take to protect Trevor Lawrence, okay? Because as soon as the Jaguars turn the corner and we start seeing the Trevor Lawrence we saw at Clemson, we're all going to go, what's the difference? Well, the fact that they're keeping him upright. He's not getting, hit on his back every single play. So whether it's Evan Neal or Ike Ekwonu, it seems like it's going to be one of those two. Whichever one it is, they're going to have the biggest impact this year.
Could be a defensive player. Do you know something that we don't know?
I'm just saying, I think if you're looking at the investment they made last year and this year,
I would pick an offensive tackle. I agree with you. They do have Walker Little, who they drafted last year, who they like. He could play left tackle. If they drafted Neal, you could play him at right guard even, which he played at college. And then when the right tackle goes the next year, then you move him to right tackle.
It's going to be a whole lot of fun to watch these guys put it on tape in the coming days.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.